Welcome back. In this module, you'll learn to transfer all the information and expectations that we gather from the domain and performance indicators to an invincible practical guide. I'll show you step by step how to plan your exam to leave no stone unturned and fulfill all the requirements. The most important part of the exam is the time before you start the exam, when you're in the reading room by yourself. This is it. You're by yourself and you have the chance to prepare your battle plan. You remember your training and just put all the usual information down as you already did hundreds of times at home. It'll be just an automatism, no sweat, no improvising. You're not allowed to bring any material with you in the room, but you prepare so well that all the information you need is engraved in every molecule of your brain. You need to put it on paper, and this paper will come with you in the treatment room. It'll be your guide to achieve a perfect performance. All the information you write down will reflect a specific part of the interview, of the objective assessment and the treatment that you must remember. As soon as you get in the room, grab a piece of paper and start writing. You'll have just a few minutes, 10 if you're lucky. You will need to follow the words in the paper during the presentation and in the treatment room. So think about this as you write it down. I recommend writing left to right, top to bottom. You can put numbers to give an order, dot points, arrows that link one item to the next one, whatever you want, as long as you can look at the cheat sheet and know exactly where you are at and what information you need in a split second. I won't give you a page that you can print. I won't tell you where to write each single item on the page. You'll learn all the words that must be on the paper, but you'll have to design the cheat sheet that works best for you. First things first, you'll be planning the interview. Every subjective assessment starts with one word, consent. This is the first word I want you to write. Write intro and main concern, or MOI for mechanism of injury, at the top. Then walk snore and fat mat underneath. Most of the interview lies here, because once you ask your patient what's the main concern in a musculoskeletal scenario, it will always be either pain or a mobility issue, or both. It's always. Walk snore will help you ask everything about pain. Where is the pain? Onset? Where did it start? Was it gradual or sudden? Constant? Is it there all the time? Severity? In a scale from 0 to 10, how strong is the pain? I like to write walk snore vertically, and beside the S of severity, I found useful to write AG for aggravate, EA for ease, and 24H for time patterns. It comes quite naturally once you ask how bad the pain is to also ask what makes the pain worse or better, even medication, and if there's any change in the pain in the morning or night. Then going on, N, nature. Is it burning, achy, deep? Other symptoms? Do you feel anything else in your body? This is especially important to clear the rest of the body chart. You will ask or point to each of the parts in their body. Any pain there, there, there? Anything in your arm, the other arm, your neck, your back, your legs? Literally list them out, and you'll be able to pick details that might be fundamental for your case. Imagine a tennis elbow with a strong cervical or neuro component. Doing this will point you in the right direction in the first 30 seconds of your exam. Pretty useful, right? Fat mat will help you with all mobility issues, especially post-operatively. Have you had any fall? Do you use any aid or require assistance? If so, ask what activity they need assistance with. Do you get in and out of bed okay? Transfers. Do you move in and out of the house okay? Do you manage to do everything around the house? ADLs. Do you go to the toilet okay? Even though you often use walk snore in its entirety when discussing pain, the use of fat mat is more flexible. Firstly, you don't have to go in order when asking the 6 questions. Secondly, sometimes you won't even have to address some of those topics at all. For example, if your patient has elbow pain after a training session, you might ask them about ADLs only. Surely not if they use any walking stick or need any help to go to the toilet, right? Or a patient 1 week post-hip replacement instead will require you to ask all 6 questions. I will mention something we'll discuss later again. The order of these items is not important while you're going through the interview with the patient. They might spontaneously talk about their mobility before their pain or their hobbies before their current medication. However, the order in which you write things is important right now as you are creating your cheat sheet. You can make small tweaks to this scheme, but I strongly recommend you keep it as close as you can to this, because firstly, it makes sense. And secondly, writing it down every single time you practice in exactly the same way. So it will help you remember every single time during the first 10 minutes of your exam. After walk, snore and FATMAT, here's the next list of words that I want you to write one beside the other. Past, med, house, work, social. Past is for past history. It's natural to ask if the patient has had any issue in the past, maybe as previous episodes of the same issue, or surgeries or fractures. Med stands for medical history and medication. Ask about his general health or confirm information that you gather from the file. Ask if they take medication and confirm whether they've taken any pain medication for the current issue, if you haven't done it during walk snore. House. Ask whether it's single or double story, about stairs, steps and rails, whether they live alone or not. Work. Ask about their occupation. Social. Ask if they have any hobby and how they spend their free time. It's quite common to talk about goals straight after the topics just mentioned. So the next words will be short and long. This is the time you talk about short and long-term goals. One last section, red flags. To be quicker, I wrote only the initial, but in alphabetical order. So they look like BB, FF, PP, WW, and then DH. You can decide to write this section beside past, med, house, work, social, or just before goals. They will work too. BB, bowel and bladder. Ask if they had issues passing or controlling urine and stool, and if they had any numb patch in the groin while cleaning themselves, to exclude cauda equina. FF, fever and falls, to exclude infections and fractures, respectively. PP, paresthesia and pain at night. Ask about pins and needles, tingling and numbness, and presence of pain at night. WW, weight loss and weakness, especially dropping objects or drop foot. DH, dizziness and headache. You want to ask as many of them as you can, just to be on the safe side. However, you can choose to omit a couple if you're running out of time or they seem completely irrelevant to the specific case. You're almost there. Now write down this list of words in a box, side by side, or in a blank space in the upper half of the page. These are common words used in the performance indicators, and I'll show you how to use them during the subjective assessment. The words are acknowledge, share, refer as goals, priority, safety, modifications, influencing factors, and last, referral. Good job! Now you know how to create the first part of your cheat sheet. Once your exam comes, you'll have practiced this scenario hundreds of times, so you don't need to write long sentences or many words on your cheat sheet. You just need to write keywords that are going to trigger a specific part of your mental script. This is your guide during the presentation and the exam, and your safety blanket during the pause moments. For example, I used to always forget mentioning DVT and precautions while practicing. So I decided to add DVT and precautions, all caps, to my cheat sheet every single time, even if I was practicing a tennis elbow scenario. This just trained my brain and helped me when I got to a post-op scenario in my exam. Do the same if there's anything off the script that your brain really doesn't want to remember, and it'll teach you a lesson. As a first practical exercise, grab a piece of paper and start designing the first part of the cheat sheet. Try to restrain this first part of the cheat sheet in the upper half of the blank page in front of you, because you'll need the second half too. Try placing the list of red flags or of the last words in various places, maybe more to the right or higher, and see what feels more natural for your eyes to follow. With practice, you want to be able to follow the script in your brain and at the same time knowing exactly where you are in the cheat sheet, and especially what comes next on the cheat sheet. You can help yourself with arrows if you're stuck somewhere in particular. It just needs to feel natural. Once you play it with that for a couple of times, you're ready for the next module. There, I'll teach you how to complete your cheat sheet to guide the second part of the exam. See you there.